many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy Magic Foundations? Magic Foundations is an attempt to essentially make a box set of Magic the Gathering. Not an expansion set, but the quintessential, fundamental Magic the Gathering set. In Wizards of the Coast's own words, the best core set ever. But there's so much more to Magic Foundations than that. That's because Magic Foundations is a return to Magic fundamentals in every sense of the term, and is designed to be legal and standard for 5 years, the longest any Magic expansion set has ever been standard legal. Foundations is intended to be both an accessible entry point to new players, as well as a celebration of what makes Magic, well, magic for players who already love this game. But just how successful was Wizards of the Coast at designing the best core set ever, the most fundamental Magic experience ever? Does Foundations live up to that tall order? Are the cards in the set worth the cost of the sealed product? And how fun is Foundations just to play with, both in terms of standard and as a standalone draft environment? All those questions and more are what's in store, so let's take a look. This episode is going to be as delicious as a home-cooked meal, which, by the way, home-cooked meals, love them. Can't get enough of them, but you know what I hate? Having to go to the grocery store to buy more food than I need to cook said meal. And then, you know what always happens? The remainder goes bad before I'm able to cook it all. Very bad, very bad. Love home-cooked meals, don't like dealing with the shopping. Good thing there's HelloFresh, sponsor of today's video. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and it's perfect for anyone who loves the idea of eating food they cook for themselves, but can't get past how annoying it is to go to the store, navigate the crowds, pay for overpriced groceries, prep the ingredients, etc., etc. With HelloFresh, each box can be fully customized for your specific dietary preferences and needs. With pre-portioned ingredients and an easy-to-follow recipe, you only get exactly the ingredients you need for your meal, so you're not wasting any food. And right now, they've got their biggest menu yet, with over 50 dinner options and even more market items that suit any healthy lifestyle. Plans change and life can get hectic, but HelloFresh has you covered. You can easily customize your delivery from week to week, mix and match any lifestyle options you'd like, from fit and wholesome to family-friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian, and more. You can tailor your delivery to your schedule by adjusting when your box comes in, or even skipping a week when you need to. Personally, I cannot start my day without a good breakfast. Fortunately, HelloFresh gives all their subscribers free breakfast for life. That's one totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. Now that's what I call based. That's what the kids say, right? Yeah, I'm down with what the kids say, and so is HelloFresh. They're down with breakfast. It's based. So say hello to HelloFresh by using my code TCCNOV10 to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. It helps out the channel, it helps you get great food, and what's more, it's delicious. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video. Let's begin with, what does a play booster pack of Magic Foundations cost? Well, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that MSRP is back. Hooray! The bad news? MSRP for a play booster of Magic Foundations is $5.25. Oh no! That's about $1 more than online marketplaces are selling individual play booster packs of both Bloomburrow and Duskmourn. According to Wizards of the Coast, Foundations products will have the following MSRPs. Individual play boosters, as we said, will cost $5.25. Collector boosters have an MSRP of $24.99. The MSRP on a Magic Foundations starter collection is $59.99, while a single Jumpstart booster pack is $5.49. The MSRP on a Magic Foundations bundle is $49.99, and a beginner box will cost $29.99. Here's a fun fact from that same announcement, by the way. That $5.25 MSRP for a play booster of Foundations, which again is about $1 more than a play booster of Bloomburrow Duskmourn, is actually a price that Wizards of the Coast has quote-unquote intentionally suggested be lower for Foundations to make it a better on-ramp for new players. Aetherdrift play boosters are going to have an MSRP of $5.49. cards. So while Duskmourn and Bloomburrow booster packs are indeed going for about $1 less than this currently, based on Aetherdrift's $5.49 MSRP, it's reasonable to conclude that Wizards intends both of those sets to sell for that price as well. Notice that there's no MSRP for Play Booster boxes. In this case, we're still going to have to determine the price of a Play Booster box by looking at online marketplaces, the current cost of which appears to be about $136 and change. Working at 36 Play Boosters per box, that means when you buy in bulk, you're only paying about $3.79 per Play Booster. As always, even with the return of MSRP, you should insert pricing as it is relevant to you, what your local game store is charging, but for this video, we will be working off of that $136 per box pricing. Let's take a look now inside of a Play Booster to see just what you're getting for your money. A Play Booster of Magic Foundations contains 14 Magic the Gathering cards. A nice 6 to 9 of them are commons, with 4 to 5 being uncommons, and anywhere between 1 and 4 of them being rare or mythic cards. One of these cards of any rarity will always be foil. This is a bit misleading though. You could certainly open an additional rare or 4, but you're highly unlikely to. In fact, they actually gave us the likelihood. 26% of the time you'll open a second rare, 2% of the time you'll open a third, and less than 1% of the time you'll open 4 rares. Taking a closer look at each slot in a Play Booster pack, we see that the common slot consists of 7 common cards, though in 1.5% of Play Boosters, one of these common slots will be replaced with one of the 10 special guest cards in non-foil. There are 80 possible commons that you can open in a Foundations Play Booster pack. There are 3 uncommon slots in a Foundations Play Booster pack, which draw from the list of 100 uncommon cards in the main set. There's 1 guaranteed rare or mythic in a pack. You have a 78% chance of opening one of the 60 rares in the set in this slot, and a 12.8% chance to open one of the 20 mythic rares in the set. Now, I was never a math teacher, but even I can tell that 78 and 12.8 do not add up to an equal 100. That's because there's an additional kind of card you can open in this slot. 7.7% of packs contain one of the 43 borderless rares in the rare slot, while 1.5% of packs contain one of the 17 borderless mythic rares. If this is confusing, don't blame me, but hang in there, we're almost done. Every Foundations Play Booster has a non-foil wildcard slot that can contain a card from any rarity. This includes any of the commons, uncommons, rares, or mythic rares mentioned above, including borderless versions. Wizards of the Coast has publicized the chances of opening a given card rarity in the wildcard slot, but rather than read them all to you, I'll just put them here on screen. There you go, there's your chances, there's your odds. There's also a slot dedicated to a traditional foil wildcard of any rarity, which includes the same range of cards that you could open in the non-foil wildcard slot, each of which shows up at the same rate. Is your head hurting yet? Well, hang on, because lastly, you'll get a land card, which has a 25% chance of having one of the 10 full art character lands, and a 50% chance of having a common dual land. Oh, and you also get a token or an art card. Hopefully a token. You really don't want to be getting art cards, you want to be getting tokens. So that's what's in a pack. Got it? No? Well, let's move on anyway. It's time to discuss not what the contents of a pack are, but whether or not those contents are likely to be worth the price of a pack. Keep in mind, as always, that these prices are pre-sale prices taken approximately 24 hours before release. As always, these are likely to change and change dramatically once the set hits the shelves. But nonetheless, just what are you getting inside of your pack in terms of financial value? Part 2, Financial Analysis. Looking strictly at the base set of Magic Foundations, if we were to omit all special treatments, as well as cards not found in the base set of Magic Foundations, we would find that 13 out of 271 cards are worth the MSRP of a Play Booster pack. The top card on this list is actually a reprint, doubling Season, as is Liliana Dreadhorde General further down the list. It's also worth noting that all but 2 of these cards are mythics. Blasphemous Edict is the only rare, and Heir Apparent is actually a common, but it's worth $5 and change because of what we call the Shadowborn Apostle rule. Keep in mind, of course, these are pre-sale prices, taken approximately 24 hours before release. If you were instead to go by bulk pricing, such as if you bought a booster box, we would be able to add an additional 4 cards to this list, as our threshold is now only $3.79 per pack. Again, I want to stress this is omitting special treatments, which I will cover in just a moment. But what about commons and uncommons? Is Hair Apparent the only one of value? Well, mostly. Looking at cards worth more than $1, there's only Bolt Wave at $2.85, and interestingly enough, Sarah Angel at $1.03, which can be added. I don't actually expect that Sarah Angel to retain its price after this product hits shelves. So what about those special treatments? You've got about a 9% chance to open one instead of a normal rare, plus an additional 6% chance to open one instead of a different foil or non-foil wild card. If you do open a borderless card, you've got a decent shot at opening something nice. That's because out of the 70 borderless cards that you might open in a Magic Foundation's Play Booster, a whopping 27 of them are worth at least the cost of a pack if you bought a booster box. If you're going by non-bulk pricing, then only 22 cost as much as MSRP, but that's still pretty decent. Note, too, that several of these cards are uncommons, like Youthful Valkyrie and Vengeful Blood Witch. You're actually less likely to open these overall than you are one of the borderless rares or mythics, since there's fewer slots that they appear in. That's probably why they carry the high price tag despite their rarity. There's also the possibility that you could open a special guest card in your Play Booster that's worth the price you paid on the pack. All but 2 of the special guests are worth the price of a Play Booster MSRP, while all but 1, Goblin Bushwhacker, is worth the cost of a single pack if you're going by bulk pricing. Not only that, but a couple of these are actually worth a pretty penny, and half of them cost more than $10 each. Don't get too excited though. You're very unlikely to open a special guest at all, let alone an expensive one. Think of it this way, if 1.5% of packs contain a special guest card instead of a common, that means roughly 1 in every 666 packs will contain a $40 special guest Chroma's Memorial. Devilish, don't you think? But I don't think that we should be focusing only on financial worth when we discuss the worth of a set. After all, this set was made to be played. What a concept. Magic is a game to be played. So what exactly is it like to play with Magic Foundations, and what is it bringing to the larger Magic ecosystem? By my evaluation, Magic Foundations is a masterpiece from a gameplay perspective. Both the set's impact on Standard and the enjoyability of its limited environment are very close to the absolute best you could hope for from a Standard core set equivalent. As far as Standard is concerned, the new cards are cool, powerful, and evocative without being overly complex. You've got sweet new build-around cards as well as strong upgrades for existing archetypes. The reprints, too, provide an excellent baseline or foundation for the Standard format for years to come. To hear why that is, check out our videos on the best new designs as well as the best reprints from Magic Foundations. The limited environment of Magic Foundations is also one of the best core set limited environments ever. The mechanics chosen are excellent for creating simple yet fun limited gameplay that is both accessible to new players and nostalgic for established ones. A very hard line to walk. Many Magic the Gathering players who attended their local pre-release events or have started drafting the set on Arena are saying that they love the set's fusion of new and old. A lot of players have even been saying that Foundations is the true love letter to Magic the Gathering that the Modern Horizons sets were ostensibly supposed to be. If your goal when buying Foundations sealed product is to get 7 or so friends together to draft the set, or even get one friend just to play head-to-head with Sealed, then Foundations is unequivocally worth your money. And of course, you can check out our limited guide to Draft and Sealed here, which there's an eye up there or something, or linked in this video's description. However, if your goal is to play with Foundations in Standard, or to pull cards for your Commander deck, well, you know what I'm going to say, right? Buy singles. But why? Is that just something I say, or do I have something to back it up with? Well, I'd like to show you. Let's say you're thinking about buying a play booster box of Magic Foundations because you think the set is cool and you want to build a standard deck. You're not super interested in drafting, you just want to play the cards in Constructed. Okay, I hear you, but a booster box of Foundations costs $136. Let's look at how many Foundations singles you could buy for that money. Let's say you're an aggro player. You want to own all the good aggro cards you might need from Foundations to build a standard aggro deck. For that $136 you'd spend on a box of Foundations, you could buy play sets of this entire list of cards. That's 31 play sets of good, aggressive cards across all 5 colors that might see play in Standard over the next 5 years. 124 cards in total, and all of that for $136.40. What if you're a control player? Oh my gosh, look at all this. A play set of these 24 control cards, 96 cards in total, is exactly $136. This includes a few of the most pricey cards in the set, like Rite of the Dragon Caller and Blasphemous Edict. And remember, many of these prices will drop after the set releases. The point is, there are literally only 4 cards in the set worth more than $10 at the time of recording. Doubling Season, Bloodthirsty Conqueror, Sire of 7 Deaths, and Twin Flame Tyrant. Of these, only Bloodthirsty Conqueror is likely to see much standard play, at least at the moment. Foundations does not hold a lot of financial value outside of the borderless treatment variants, but that's not really the point of this set. The set exists to make Standard better, and it accomplishes that goal in spades. The best way to enjoy post-Foundation Standard, however, is by buying playsets of the cards you actually want to play for the decks that you're interested in. In some ways, the fact that Foundation's cards are so affordable is another good thing. It is worth it to buy singles because those singles are affordably priced. Put together a Standard deck. The format has never been better. Final conclusion? Magic Foundations is a masterpiece of game design, creating the ultimate Magic the Gathering base set for people to draft, as well as bringing excellent cards into constructed formats such as Standard. As with all standard Magic sets, buying packs to crack open for value is a gamble, and a bad one, and you should not do that. Though it is worth noting the ways in which, for Foundations, this is somewhat mitigated by the strategic use of alternative treatments and special guest cards. But while Magic Foundations may not be worth it to buy in terms of cracking open packs and ripping wrappers, the singles from the sets certainly are worth it to buy in that they are affordable and will lead you into building the decks that you want to play in an affordable way. Its draft and limited environments are also excellent and worth every penny, and I overwhelmingly encourage you to try participating in one at your local game store. As far as this set is concerned, it's a solid A, as Magic Foundations has something to offer everyone, from established long-term players to those brand new to the game. Magic Foundations goes above and beyond the core sets of old and succeeds in creating a quintessential Magic experience. It is absolutely worth it as a product, and it makes this game better, by far. And if you would like to see some standard decks in action using Foundations cards, be sure to check out the newest episode of Shuffle Up and Play, featuring Covert Go Blue, Krim, and Jesse Robkin and myself building standard decks and going toe-to-toe. Or if you're just interested in drafting, whether at your local game store or on Magic Arena, be sure to check out our complete guide to Magic Foundations Limited. Both those videos are listed in the description. And remember, if you're ready to say goodbye to overpriced food delivery that arrives lukewarm and isn't even slightly nutritious, say hello to HelloFresh. Right now, if you use my code TCCNOV10, you'll get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. What's not to love? So say goodbye to overpriced delivery and say hello to fresh, home-cooked meals with HelloFresh. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring this video.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
We will be playing this commander game with a twist, inspired by Share the Spoils. Exiles the top card of each player's library, which we will be doing here today, and then during each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among cards exiled with Share the Spoils.
I'm gonna pass the turn and watch Prof play my
Tezzeret,
land.
I don't even need it.
Oh.
I don't even need
You're
it.
just making enemies just cuz?
You're
gonna-
I don't want a forest, I want a red!
Can you name without looking what flanking does?
Where you come from behind and just like kick their
Yawgmoth.
or something like that, and that would...
In the game.
Oh, I don't ruin this to Prof! I got that.
I was gonna do that against Foxy.
We got it!
Yeah!
Who wants to get infected first?